before we begin the recap, if you notice right away, I'm in a different setting. I am actually in the game room, which is pretty messy at the second. Of course, I didn't do it because I wasn't really in this room for a good amount of time. But yeah, they were playing video games, and of course, if you know by today, I'm at a friend's house, JV64's house. So that's kind of want to bring up your attention real quick before you guys ask questions. Where was I, and et cetera, et cetera. But now that that's out of the way, it's time to talk about Miami sports. And oh boy, I could honestly tell you that this has been one of the best weeks. And if we count the recap week that happened in this week alone, we only lost twice, Monday and Tuesday. But in the calendar week, we lost like 4 games in this week compared to like many others. So that is really, really good. A lot of good outweigh the bad, of course. And I can't be more prouder to be in this community than I ever have been before, because a lot of freaking good came out of this week. And I'm so happy, really, really happy. And I hope we continue this trend because summer of Miami is coming. And I'm looking forward to it. So let's talk about this. So, we're going to start off with the Miami Heat. And the reason why I'm going to start with Miami Heat is because they're doing the finalists, and we played our first game in the playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks, which Friday night, it was the Atlanta Hawks emerging victorious over the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we knew this was going to happen, so we prepared for it. So, what happened in Game 1? It's an easy victory. But we cannot get comfortable with this victory alone, because they're going to play harder with Trae Young and others to play against the Miami Heat throughout this series. So we cannot get too comfortable. So, and there is history of us choking the first seed. So we cannot let this happen. So we gotta continue on. But anyway, the final score is 115-91 Miami. And who did the scoring? It was PJ Tucker with 16 points, Jimmy Butler with 21 points, Bam Adebayo with 6 points, Kyle Lowry with 10 points, and Max Strus with 9 points. Duncan Robinson with many threes, 27 points off the bench. So we know now he's a bench player, and he's really darn good at it. So, clutches to Duncan Robinson, he's starting to feel hot. A lot of nerves kicked in for the Miami Heat players, and that's understandable. This is a big stage. They haven't been in a big stage like that since maybe the time when they're in the bubble or last year. But last year was such a mess. But this is a new year. We're going to play well, and I'm confident about it. And in order for us to do this, we have to keep doing what we did yesterday on Easter. So before Game 2, gotta keep looking at what happened in Game 1 and continue on for the Game 2s, 3, and 4 at least. So, alright, I want to talk about the finalists and the voting that's happened recently. Due to a voting that's happened, I want to point out Bam Adebayo not in the category of Defensive Player of the Year. Instead, they gave it to Marcus Smart. Now, I don't know if they know this, but anybody knows, but we feel disrespected time and time again over the course of this season, and this one is no exception. How is it possible that a guy like Marcus Smart, who was injured most of the year, gets to be a Defensive Player of the Year? They got more prime time and more national television time than we have. We only had about 10 to 12 games. Meanwhile, those teams, they got like 20 of them, at least. How is it possible? They're not watching us. They're not going to watch us, and that's a shame too. If they're not watching us, they're missing us, and they're going to miss us hard when we make it to the finals and win it all. Because are they going to show disrespect if we win the NBA Finals, or are they finally going to show some respect at the NBA Finals? Thankfully, it's not totally like that, because the other candidates is Tyler Hero for the 6th Man of the Year, the finalist, and Eric Spoelstra of the Coach of the Year. and this should be no surprise. Eric Spoelstra should be the winner of the year because you want to talk about injuries, right? We had injuries left and right throughout the year, and we had COVID problems in winter months such as December and January. One of those games was postponed to February. That was the San Antonio Spurs game. And a lot of rotations, a lot of 10-day signings throughout the winter. It's been throughout the winter. They had the 10-day sign Mario Chalmers, retired NBA player. 10-day signing with Heiswood, Kyle Guy. Those guys too. And somehow, some way, not all of them, but most of them, they were winning games. They were the temporary players, and some of them really pulled off the game, like Kyle Guy. So they can play. They can play. You give them the shot, and they won't disappoint you. And that's how good this coach is. So if you're not going to give him Coach of the Year, I'd be shocked. And that's why, and want to bring out that point Bam Adebayo. I am shocked. I am shocked he's not Defensive Player of the Year. I just can't believe it. Tyler Hero's a good choice, hopefully. If not, then totally understandable. All right, but moving on into the next team is the Miami Marlins, the baseball team. So, okay, let me explain this series, right? This was a 2-game series in Anaheim, California. We haven't really gone there until at least the 2017 season. So we were there the 2017 season. I don't particularly remember who won that series because that was like so long ago. But in this series, we got swept. And most of the time, it's really not our fault. Sure, the bullpen had its faults too, but a lot of the faults did not come from us. I promise you. And the Angels that we played this series had some tough time with it too. The umpires with some horrendous calls in the strike zone. If you watch these games, clearly you know that some of the pitches were in the zone. Right, this is the strike zone from the bottom, top of the knees, over here, and then down there. So when the ball is pitched right here, it's a strike. Umpire saw that it was up here, which is a ball, a borderline pitch ball. But a computer, which has a solid circle, would say is a strike. Anytime you see a solid circle on the strike zone, it's a strike, and in the actual circle itself, it's a ball. It was a solid circle, and it had plenty of strike zone. The umpire did not call it a strike 3. It was a strike 3 pitch that did not get called. And it was a ball 4 that puts another man on. And that's what led to a Marsh home run, which made it 3-0. That could have been a game changer if that strike 3 call would have happened. But it did not happen. Instead, the next pitch, the very next pitch, and the next batter too, it was a 3-run home run, the first inning. So it was a game changer for the Angels, and right away we're losing the game because of that strike 3 blown call, which is pure bullshit. And then the episode to injury, Adele hit a home run to make it 4-0. And then there was a time where Jesus Sanchez, who is getting better and is really producing some numbers this week, has a home run to left field, to center field actually. So to make it 1-4, and then the next batter, it was Jesus Aguilar, and again we talked about that strike 3 blown call that called a ball 4. This one was way below the knees. Remember I talked about the knees, top of the knees into the bottom of your chest right here. That pitch was below the knees of Jesus Sanchez, way below too. The umpire called it a strike, and that's when Don Mattingly really had enough. And we had our first ejection of the year. He got tossed out after that pitch, and this was at the top of the 4th inning too. He got tossed, and it's a good thing that he cares too, because this is a team with the good expectations with some of the good signings. But regardless, he got tossed to fire up the team and show that he really does care about winning, but in the end, it just did not pay off. And in a lot of these, and from that point on to the 6th inning into the 9th inning, it's been 1, 2, 3 innings. A lot of pitching was so frustrating from the Angels. We just didn't produce anything. And then the end of the 8th inning, it was game, set, and match. It was a double by Marsh and Adele. The two freaking batters who hit a home run early in the game sealed the game. So, thinking it was going to be a blowout and the score was going to be 1-6, it was Jesus Sanchez with his second home run of the game to make it 2-6, which was the final score of the Angels game. So that was a late game for us. But the next game, yeah, it was. This one did not help at all. We actually had a chance to actually win the game too, but we blew it. We just plain up blew it. But De La Cruz single to right, which allowed Garrett Cooper to score on a throwing error. So it ended up being a triple. Mayfield triple to deep right for the Angels, as well as Anthony Rendon. Who else? The former Washington National. We have a history with him. And if you realize this, most of these scores, yeah, Mike Trout. Who else? He was part of the scoring too. Hence, that's why there was a double. So, yeah. And then in the 7th inning, Chaz Chisholm with the home run to right, which allowed Birdie to score to make it 3-3. And guess who was there? Charlie Sheen, the guy who played 2.5 Men at Major League. He's a big time baseball geek, and he's also a big time fan of Chaz Chisholm Jr. apparently. So that's good to know. And then when he hit a home run, he started laughing and started celebrating and clapping like this. So that was fun. I'm glad to see Charlie Sheen happy. I love 2.5 Men, and I love the movie of Major League. And then came in the Major League 2. So what a fun atmosphere. Unfortunately, umpires blew it again. It was a strike zone. It was a strike 3 pitch that did not call it. That did not call it a strike 3, but ended up being a ball 4. And at the next pitch, Stassi for the Angels hit a ground ball, which led to fielder's choice, and we lost the game. So we just did not win the game at all. We did not tie the series against the Angels, and we lost the series, and we got swept. So the California road trip at this point was a disaster. We only won 1 game out of it. So, embarrassing look. It was an embarrassing look. So, Wednesday was a day off because we were flying back from California back to Florida. And then April 14th, which was the start of the home series against the Philadelphia Phillies. So, Alcantara and who was pitching for the Phillies? It was Gibson. So, Gibson was pitching for the Phillies. And so, this game, the game 1, we have a lot to talk about. This one, the final score was 4-3 Marlins in a very convincing way, too. So, Bryce Harper hit a sacrifice fly. I mean, who else? We're going to have to deal with him for the next 10 years or so now. Nothing happened a lot since the first inning. It's been a pretty good pitching matchup for these two teams. But then until the 4th inning, it was a home run crush to left field. It was a 414 feet ball from Garrett Cooper. And we tied the game 1-1. So it was a good ball. It was a very good ball. And a fan caught it too. And then while the game was being played on, he was in the interview during the game for Bally Sports Florida, which was fun. I loved hearing this. And he had experience playing baseball and softball too, so that's pretty nice to hear. So Jesus Sanchez started a rally, and also Javier Garcia, Miami native, and another guy who came in to score both of those guys I just mentioned. It was Joey Wendell. And believe it or not, Joey Wendell is one of the only guys in the league who doesn't use batting gloves to use the bat to play baseball. I thought it was pretty weird, but that's his choice. But it was a opposite field hit because he's a lefty and the ball went left field, and that allowed Garcia and Sanchez to score. And speaking of Sanchez, he singled to left, which allowed Jazz Chisholm to score on a triple before that. So it was the bangs came alive, but then the scare happened in the 7th inning when who else really? Take a guess who? Bryce Harper, right? He doubled to deep right, which allowed JT Realmuto to score. He's a former Marlin. And Vierling to score too. So it's a 3-4 game right now. So I'm a little scared. I'm pretty scared about the game. But the top of the 9th inning, when it was a very, very nice double play, I didn't think the double play was going to happen. But that did happen. And the next bat was hit to right. And then here comes Bryce Harper. At that time, I was being pessimistic. Yeah, this game is over. Because he's the type who's going to be the hero for the Phillies in the Nationals at that time to break the score over. Fortunately, he did not. It was a fly out to left field, and it was Soler who caught it, and we won the game 4-3. Now, there is something you should know about this game. After the win, the crowd, it was electric. 31,000. That's something you don't really hear of in the Miami crowd in baseball anymore. But 31,000 people in that game. That is close to the record. Pretty close to the record. The average was 30,000, 20,000, maybe even 40,000 in bigger teams. But 31,000 in this team alone. That's something I'm really happy with. And to add bonus too, we won the game. So they're going to come back. And to point out this, Jorge Soler and Garcia are the Miami natives, so maybe there's some family and friends there, but the fans came in and watched. And they did so again Friday night. Less people, but that's something we can point out too. In this game, just look at the score. It's been all Miami. And the rest of these games are blowouts too. 7-1 Miami. And it starts with Jorge Soler, which when Jesus Sanchez doubled to right, Soler scored. And then there was a point where there was even a situation that Aguilar was stretching to second, which allowed Sanchez to score from Jesus Aguilar. It was a double who reached that second, but unfortunately he was called out too. But nonetheless, it was like a sacrifice double, pretty much. So 2-0 Marlins already. Chaz Chisholm with the deep triple to right, which allows Jacob Stallings and Miguel Rojas to score. 4-0. In the 5th inning, look, too many triples. There's a triple in this game, there's a triple in that inning, and the rest of the game was pretty much sacrifice fly. So there was an opportunity, but we were hitting triples in this game, and we were close too. I think we even broke the record. I'm not sure, but the shutout came to an end in the 8th inning when Nick Castellanos unfortunately hit a home run, which the guy we were going to sign, Derek Jeter wanted it, but our GM didn't really want to. So the final score was 7-1 in that game. Now, before we continue, right? Speaking of our GM, in our other games, the 3-4 game against the Phillies, she was in an interview with Paul Severino in the 3rd inning, and this just goes to show just how I don't want to say dumb, unintelligent she is. She can make good signings, but she makes a comment on Javier Garcia, saying he's a 30-run home run guy. Well, I don't know if she's been watching other teams play, but he's not a 30-run home run guy. He could be this year, but he wasn't in his entire career. Look up his stats, and you'll see he has never hit a 30-run home run season in his career. It just did not happen. It could happen this season, but it never happened this season. So he can hit home runs, but he never had once a 30-run home run. Just shows the intelligence that she has. Next is the Saturday game, which Trevor Rogers just had an unbelievably ugly game. In the first couple of innings, yeah. I don't really want to explain it. I'm just going to say it right here. Philly scored 8-0 in the first 2 innings. 8. And a lot of them is by Baugh, Harper, who stole home, Verling, Harper again, Baum again, and Camargo. 8-0. That was already over. In the 5th inning, Jorge Soler with a bomb. Oh my God. So remember Sean Carroll Stanton with his home runs to left and to right. He can crush balls, but this home run was gone. Was just plain gone. If there was a roof that is open, that ball would have gone to Fort Lauderdale. That ball was crushed by Jorge Soler. That was his first of the year. So big hit by Jorge Soler. But it didn't matter because Castellanos singled to right, which allowed Real Muto to score. Baum hit a sacrifice fly. And Javier Garcia with another bomb, which was even higher. 443 feet for Garcia. The Soler one was 428. So, but unfortunately, it was well over too late. There was even hope in the 9th inning, but that was it. 10-3 was the final score for Philadelphia. So, maybe a little bit of the hangover, but 10-3, not quite the numbers we want. However, on Easter Sunday, we had our big revenge. Now, look at this score for Saturday game, right? 10-3. This was yesterday, on Easter Sunday. This was yesterday. Yes, Saturday was 3-10 Phillies. Yesterday, it was 11-3 Marlins. So if they could do it, we can do it too. It was very ugly for Zach Wheeler too. And Hernandez with a career-high stats in the Angel game on Tuesday, which he produced 12. His career high was 11. He pitched throughout the Angels game, and he recorded 12 strikeouts in his game, which was his career high. So expectations were on him. And he produced good numbers in this one too. 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, and only 1 run in. And that was it. But for us, Jazz Chisholm triple to right, which allowed BA to score. De La Cruz singled, Jazz Chisholm scored. And another triple, Miguel Rojas. So remember the triples on the Friday game. It's happening again. So Miguel Rojas tripled. Jesus Sanchez with his good numbers. He's been hitting. Joey Wendell singled, which allowed Jorge, Soler, and Sanchez to score. And, who else? Bryce Harper with the home run to break the score over to make it 1-7 Marlins. But Jazz Chisholm has something to say about it. It's a double to right, which allowed Joey Wendell to score. Then Henry, a backup catcher for Jacob Stallings, grounded to the pitcher, which BA was pretty fast enough to make it to home to throw out the first. Bryce Harper doubled to left. So all these scores, most of them actually, came from Bryce Harper. So double to left, which would be 2-9. Then in the bottom, Jazz Chisholm hit a sacrifice fly, which allowed Jesus Aguilar to score. I thought it was second. I thought it was third out for some reason. I guess I really didn't pay attention because I was really concentrating on the Heat game, and it was tough because there was 3 games happening at once on Easter Sundays. It was tough to keep up. But just either way, it's 10-2 Marlins, and next inning, Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run for the Phillies. So that is the same score that happened previous night, 3-10. But this time it's the opposite. Marlins have 10 points, and Phillies have 3 points. So could be revenge, a complete revenge. However, Jesus Sanchez made it worse because it was a shallow center to single, in which allowed Henry to score. It's 3-11, and that is your final score. With this win, Pittsburgh Pirates win, and the San Diego Padres win. We were down dead last in NL East, right? And I know it's early, but I want to point this out now because I think it's important for the rest of the season. We were down last place. And with that win, We went up to third. We are completely the same match with the Atlanta Braves, who has a bigger win percentage because they have a game in hand, and we are one game behind. So that is a half and half scenario. But if they lose and we win the next one against a pretty tough St. Louis Cardinals team right now, again, remember, Albert Pujols is back with the Cardinals for his last year. So we got to be careful. Plus, we should really welcome Albert Pujols because this is his final year in baseball. And I think if he hits a home run, let's not be angry. Let's actually praise him because he is one of the best hitters in modern history right now. And it's unfortunate that he doesn't have too many World Series to show for it, but he can walk off with his legendary career with St. Louis Cardinals. Pretty fitting ending too. All right. Next is the Miami FC, which is the USL team. They played against Hartford Athletic, which is a city in Connecticut. I think it's the capital of Connecticut too. It's been old Miami FC. Kyle Murphy with his first real goal of the season, for the actual season, his second goal in his team time with the Miami FC over Miami United. That was a U.S. Open round, but he scores in the season. And then to take matters worse, Romeo Parks sealed the game for Miami FC. So Hartford Athletic, with this expectation, they're not having their brightest season so far. They have one draw and they lost 4 times. With this win, we move up to 5th place in the USL Championship. We are behind Detroit. We are behind Tampa Bay, who we beat. We're also behind Pittsburgh and Louisville. So before we talk about the U.S. Open Cup match, we got to talk about another team. Another Miami team, of course, is Inter Miami. Oh boy, I was not expecting this. And this was a debate for that one night, which was this night. I was going to pick them as winner of the week. So it was a tough choice. This win was so impressive. And guess who they beat? Seattle Sounders. Seattle Sounders, one of the best teams in the league in modern history. We beat them 1-0. Robbie Robinson with this clutch goal in the 41st minute goes to the back of the net. Granted, most of the starters are out due to the CCL matchup that they're taking more seriously. But knowing their coach, they want to win. They are going to win the game regardless. So throughout that second half, they put most of their starters in, if not all. And we had to play defense, a lot of defense. And thank God for Nick Marsman with his clutch saves at the second half. Didn't even equalize once. We shut out those Sounders 1-0. That is something you don't really hear. But maybe Phil Neville has a plan that we don't know. Second game in a row, Higuain was not playing. Maybe he was the problem. Who knows? Maybe the next match against Atlanta, who was also on national television as well. 3 games in a row were on national television. So a popularity is really strong. And we should get more popularity. We should get more national televisions. Take notes, NBA. Take notes. Before we talk about the Florida Panthers, who are the winner of the week, let's actually bring up the game tomorrow night, which is a Miami Classico, which is going to happen at Ricardo Silva Stadium, which is in FIU's University in Miami, the actual Miami place. It's going to happen at 7 o'clock. If you're interested, watch it. Be there. ESPN Plus, I'm interested to see. I want to see who's the best team in Miami. This team, the Miami FC team, they're pretty, let's just say they're the type who alienates people. Even those who were Miami FC fans who go into Miami because they were the MLS team. There was even with that win, they said the win goes back to the 305. Miami FC responded, correction, 954, which is a area code of Fort Lauderdale. So good burn, but I don't know. If you're trash talking, if you lose, that's nobody's fault but yourself. Let's just say the least. And finally, winner of the week, Florida Panthers, who are all going for it. They're going for it, and we are going for it. We have beaten the Anaheim Ducks in overtime. So it was another comeback, and most of the points came from Anthony Duclair. And thank you, Jonathan Huberdeau, who scored a game winner in the overtime. Troy Terry scored first for the Anaheim Ducks. Anthony Duclair responded in the second period. And late in the second period, Derek Grant to make it 2-1 in for the favor of Anaheim. And this is all in Florida too. And you would think the expectations and the favoritism is for us, and we did. Anthony Duclair with the power play goal to equalize. And then afterwards, Jonathan Huberdeau in overtime sealed the game for us. And we won once again. So we have a good winning streak so far. We have a good winning streak so far, and we're going to keep it that way. From that win, it was 8 in a row. 8 games in a row. Next game on Friday, it was a blowout. This is something we haven't seen in a while, but a blowouts, yeah, we're used to it. Jonathan Huberdeau scores twice, all in the first period. Gustav Forsling scores twice, all in the second period. Third period, there was 3 goals. It was Nikolai Ehlers to make it 1-4 Florida. That's for Winnipeg, team we beat in Winnipeg, Canada, back in January, which is an incredibly cold place. It was temperature that day was like 25 degrees below zero. There was a huge temperature difference. Next, after that, Mason Marchman responds to make it 1-5. And then the goal to steal the game for 6-1 was Maxime Mammon, 98. So, yeah, two players with 2 goals in the same game, too. Could you imagine there would be history with 3 goals for both those players, 2 hat tricks for 2 different players? That would be history there for the Florida Panthers, a history. That would have been cool to see. And finally, look, there was 3 games that happened in the same day on Easter Day. It was so hard to keep up. But it happened yesterday, Easter Sunday. But this game against the Red Wings, it's on national television, ESPN. At the same time, Miami Heat was playing. It was the Game 1 playoffs game against Atlanta Hawks. So, thankfully, I had an opportunity. I didn't miss much. Thank God, too. Because I was like flipping back and forth with those 2 different devices. It was really tough. But thankfully, one of the games ended early enough where I could concentrate on 2 other games. Thank God. Miami Heat was so good. I didn't really have to. I didn't have to watch the rest of the game because it was a 30-point game. But I did it anyway because I want to be a true fan. And I am a true fan. Don't call me out saying I'm fake. Because I will drop you. This game, this was, look, all the games against Detroit Red Wings are all national televised games. It's pretty weird. Best team in the league against the worst team in the league. I don't know how you put that as national television. So nothing happened the first period, but second period there was goals. Anthony Duclair scored 1, Sam Reinhart scored 1, Anton Lundell scored 1, and Maxime Mammon scored 1. It's 4-0 in the second period. Then third period, shorty, which means we have 4 men on ice and they have 5 on the power play, and we had a shorthanded goal again. This time was Anton Lundell, his second goal of the game, 5-0. Spencer Knight was also goaltending that night. So this kid, 20 years old, on national television, playing like a freaking star, like a veteran. No shutout though. Bruce Suter to make it 5-1 Florida, and Gustav Forsling to seal the game 6-1. 2 games back to back to make it 6-1 Florida, and with the history win, this is 10-1, right? Not 10-1, but 6-1 for 2 of those games. So 12-2 in the last 2 games for those scoring wise if we add them up. And with this win, this is 10 straight wins. A history. This has happened before, I can imagine. But now we witness history in modern history with the Florida Panthers. This is clearly the best Florida Panthers team we have ever seen. And our expectations are pretty high. And we want to win the playoff series. Think about this. The last time we won a playoff series win at all was all the way back to 1995-96 season. That was the series. That was the playoffs that we made it to the Stanley Cup and got swept against the Colorado Avalanche. So maybe this might be the same story, but we could be the victors. But there's a couple more weeks left. And we're ready for it. We're going for it. Because at the end of these seasons, we're going for it. The summer of Miami, the baseball season is getting good. Miami soccer is getting better. The Miami Classico is happening, which is awesome. And this is going to be interesting. And football season's on its way. USFL is also on if you want to watch as a neutral. There is no Miami team, so sorry. But football season is on its way. We're excited for the Miami Dolphins team to play. We're excited for the Marlins season. And we're excited for the summer of Miami, the playoffs games. Because at the end, it's going to be us all in the national televised. And I don't know about you, but this is high heat in the 305. That's going to do it for this week, folks. This is episode 15. Next week, we're going to know more about the playoffs, if we even made it through the second round to the divisional round. And we could know more if we have more of a finalist wins and 6-man and more of a winning streak for the Marlins and the Panthers. If we can get that happen, we are pretty hopeful for all seasons, because Miami sports has been really, really, really boosted. And it's been pretty awesome. That's going to do it for this week, folks. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content. Miami TVG has your back. When they do, be right there with you for the entertainment you deserve. Miami TVG signing out, folks. Good night, everybody.